When the alarm was raised about the missing hikers, rescue teams were dispatched into the wilderness. But it was already too late. The fate of the group had been sealed in the unforgiving grasp of the Ural Mountains. After failing to hear from them for 2 days, he reported them missing. It was later found slashed open from the inside. Bizarrely, there were no signs of a struggle. The backpacks were neatly placed outside the tent, suggesting the hikers had left in a hurry. And disturbingly, 4 of the boots were missing. Adding to the enigma, the tracks that led away from the tent were in ordinary hiking boots, not the specialized footwear needed for such terrain. The 4th victim discovered on March 4th was Yuri Krivonishenko. The official investigation attributed the deaths to an unknown compelling force. But what compelled these young hikers to abandon their tent, strip and flee, only to perish in the freezing cold? His injuries were horrifying, revealing a post-mortem gash on his head, missing ribs, and a missing tongue. Government officials were tight-lipped, and the case was closed in March 1959, classified as an accident. With each passing year, more details emerge, more theories are proposed, but the harsh reality of the Ural Mountains continues to hold the answers close. Could you survive the terrifying ordeal faced by the Dyatlov Pass hikers? Let us know in the comments. And if you'd like to learn more about similar cases, check out our videos on unsolved mysteries. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching. The documents remain sealed for decades, fueling suspicions of a cover-up. Others point to infrasound as a possible cause, where low-frequency sound waves can trigger feelings of dread and panic. Still, others suspect military experiments, perhaps exposure to parachute mines or chemical warfare agents. Paranormal theories abound, from Yeti attacks to UFO sightings. The final 3 bodies were found on May 2nd, buried under the snow in a ravine. The official investigation concluded that an avalanche had caused the horrific injuries and the missing body parts. But many experts argue that if an avalanche had struck the tent, there would have been more substantial damage to the surroundings. Moreover, avalanche-induced injuries are typically confined to external trauma. They don't usually explain internal injuries found on some of the victims. Ludmila Dubinina was lying on her stomach with her arms missing. Near her, face down in the snow, was Alexander Maslenikov. Both had died from skull fractures. The 9th hiker, Nikolai Thibault, was discovered 300 meters further up the ravine. He was lying on his side, his face covered with dirt. Some of the footprints revealed bare feet, indicating that the hikers had started walking without their boots and socks. It would take another week for the search and rescue team to reach the area. And when they did, they would find nothing but a silent tent on a mountainside. What they would discover scattered across the frozen landscape would defy explanation. On February 2nd, 1959, Yuri Yudin, who had turned back due to illness, raised the alarm about his missing friends. The tent was pitched on the slope of Kalatsiakal, meaning Dead Mountain. In the local Mansi language, one of them belonged to Zina Kolia Denizova, a 23-year-old woman whose skull was found crushed. The second victim was identified as Rustam Sloboda, aged 34. Near them lay a half-melted snow-covered backpack, also crushed. Inside the backpack, investigators found a diary, which revealed a troubling timeline. On January 26th, the group had intended to move camp. They were to set off at 8 a.m., but a late start meant that they had to hurry. It was 2 p.m. before they were ready to go. By 5 p.m. they were exhausted. According to the diary, they decided to stop for the night. It took only a few minutes for the rescuers to realize that those who had left the tent had not planned to come back. As they followed the boot prints deeper into the mountain's embrace, they came across a small stream. The tracks indicated that the group had crossed the stream, but there was no sign of where they might have gone after that. Despite an extensive search, no trace of the hikers was found. Days turned into weeks and hope began to dwindle. Then on February 26th, news of a grim discovery reached the search team. 2 bodies had been found lying by a fire. Over the next few weeks, more bodies were found. But what had caused these horrific injuries? And why was one of the women stripped, almost completely naked? The Dyatlov Pass incident became a sensation in the Soviet Union. But despite the public fascination, the case remained shrouded in secrecy. In 2019, after renewed public pressure, the Russian government reopened the case. Despite new technologies and fresh perspectives, the mystery deepened. Some believe the hikers were caught in a katabatic wind, a rare weather event involving hurricane-force gusts that can occur in mountainous regions. Now, over 6 decades since the Dyatlov Pass incident, the truth remains elusive.